Several things have happened because of NETRIGHT. Is it about national policy level? Is it about having a space to enter all the time? Any national policy discussion that happens, there is always NETRIGHT involved. I can also never forget during the first time the Constitutional Review Committee was constituted. I was still a student leader, but I joined the NETRIGHT team to meet the Constitutional Review Committee, and we presented a position of NETRIGHT. And I remember very well, that was my first introduction to gender neutral language.
NETRIGHT is an organization, it's a network of organizations as well as individuals. And all these years we have all worked together, all the different organizations under the leadership of NETRIGHT. So we can say that, during this period, over the last 25 years, we've seen significant, changes.
If you have a big network like NETRIGHT, then everybody who is a member recognizes that they must be accountable to other women wherever they are and the issues that are of concern to them. So we have grown as the women's rights movement in Ghana since the period that we set up until now, when we are in our 25th year.
The NETRIGHT as a network, as a coalition, its role in bringing people together, catalyzing discussion, keeping things visible, and so on, that particular role, is very important. Because if you look at individual organizations, they don't have the resources to continue carrying particular fights, budget cycles and donor flavors change, So a network like this is very important for keeping, common purpose alive, even as people may be going through ups and downs.
All NETRIGHT's work are critical in advancing women's rights work. For me, that work at the grassroots level, the passage of the legislative instrument on the DV Act was very instrumental for the widows we work with, for the many people, marginalized women that are abused, or just people that are abused at the grassroots level. So it has great significance. The Land Act is another great one, because we have a lot of women that still cannot own farmlands in some parts of northern Ghana, and even having parents know that it's okay to actually give your land out to a female or your daughter is one thing that the Act re-echoes, which is something that is great for advocacy.
Myself being on a panel for NETRIGHT during the 2003 National Feminist Forum. In fact, because I was in the panel, I read almost every document on Ghanaian feminists, on African feminists. I read almost everything. And that actually, even though the panel discussion was just an hour or so, it actually built my capacity. And also as a facilitator in one of the young feminist conference we had in Pram. At every meeting that we meet at NETRIGHT, it builds your capacity. And there is always something to say, oh wow, this is good. It was good I was here.
Over the 25 years, we've been highly engaged in economic policy initiatives. So when the government decided to reform its land laws, NETRIGHT was very active among the civil society groups that made sure that women's land rights were taken into account in the new legislation. In the same vein, NETRIGHT has been interested in Ghana's oil and gas sector, and doing research and advocating for ways in which communities that were going to be affected by oil and gas could at least enjoy some of the benefits of the oil and gas boom.
As I say, bibi by horn bibi 2 years, ya to me fight positive results because of NETRIGHT. Say a brew so na ɛsan akɔ mu hɔ because ɔmo yɛ maame no mu no mbɔ nti sɛ deɛ tumi di yɛn yɛ kasa yɛ kɔ baabi a yɛtumi twerɛ letter ma government kra ɔtie yɛ because ɔmo sɛ nea yɛka no yɛnyɛ dwadefo kɛkɛ dwadefo a yɛhyɛ ekuo bi ase all the time dabi a meka sɛ NETRIGHT ama sesi a de me gyina baabi kasa a me nso me kasa because masua menim sɛ ne yɛde panyifo kasa menim sɛ ne yɛkasa ɔbadwa menim sɛ first na bɛrima ne ka ɛma no kasa si ya de bɛrima ka me de ɔmo ka paa ama baabi anti ase yɛ adwuma